Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of UnMuted. So, without further ado, thank you for tuning in to episode number 8 of UnMuted. Tonight's topic is his side, her side, marriage, divorce, single, dating, children, career, you name it. So, once a month, I try to bring in a special guest dealing with certain topics. And tonight, I'm bringing in a special guest. You may know him from around Montgomery. He is a native of Montgomery. He is also, he has his own show on Facebook. It is called What's Love Got to Do with It? His name is Jamar Stanford. He is, like I said, a native of Montgomery. He grew up here in the west side of Montgomery, where he attended Carver High School. He started his career in the wireless industry at the age of 19 years old, where he has worked his way up from a customer service representative to a district manager. Jamar has won numerous awards in wireless industry, including the #1 customer service in the Southeast region. Jamar is also a barber, where he had a barber business where he cut hair and style for politicians and professionals in the Montgomery area. He has 2 children, Gracie, 12, and Caden, 7. Jamar has a podcast, like I said, and Facebook live show called What's Love Got to Do with It, where he talks about love and relationships. He has a good show, actually. He has a very good show. Something else about Jamar. He volunteers in his time on several different executive boards. The Black Lives Matter murals downtown and the different things that you see. He was actually a part of the painting of that and the coordinating of that. He is also affiliated with the Montgomery Chamber, if I'm not mistaken. He is, but he had a lot of yes, he is. He's the chairman circle board for the Montgomery Area Chamber of Commerce. So I was good on that. I do remember certain things. He is the secretary for the Ed Tech Academy, vice president of the Montgomery Falcons football team. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and bring in my special guest, Jamar. So let me make sure. I don't have my tech guy in here with me tonight. My son is at football practice, so make sure I do all of this exactly like he told me to do it. Hey, Jamar.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm all right. Can you hear me well?
Okay, I can hear you. I want to make sure everybody else can hear you. Okay. I see you cheesing real big. You had a good day today?
Yeah, I did. I did pretty busy from one thing to another. Glad to be on. Thank you for inviting me on. I'm super excited I get the opportunity to actually be the interviewee instead of being the interviewer. So I'm excited about tonight.
Okay, well, good. Well, I'm excited to have you on. So tell me, now I read your bio, but you can tell me about you better than I can read about you on the bio. So tell us a little bit something about you and what you do, how you got into what you do, and then we'll segue into what the show is really about.
Absolutely. Well, you did perfect on the bio. Thank you for that. It's kind of nerve-wracking hearing somebody talk about, your life and what you've done. But something that's not in the bio that I actually left out, and I'll go ahead and put that in there, is I'm not in the wireless industry anymore. I work for AAA now as a corporate membership sales director. So I have the opportunity to travel the state and talk with businesses and corporations about AAA memberships. The things that I like to do in my spare time. I love live bands, so anything live I listen to. Um, I also love tailgating during football season. Is my most absolute favorite thing to do. But I don't think we're going to be able to do that this year because of COVID. COVID need to go on somewhere. COVID getting on my nerves.
Yes, it's time. COVID has
Corona need to
ran
be
this
gone.
course. We tired of COVID. We've been tired of COVID.
And I know, right? Corona need to be gone.
Right, right.
But yeah, that's pretty much all about me. I'm born and raised here in Montgomery. I grew up on the west side. I grew up in South Lawn area. That's where I pretty much lived at for majority of my teenage and preteen life. Um, and that's pretty much it. I got 2 kids, Kaden and Gracie, that are my life. I spend a lot of time with them. And every chance I get to spend with them is a absolute blessing. So I get a chance to enjoy that. That's about it. I'm divorced. That's another thing about me. I'm divorced. I've actually been divorced twice, been married twice. So I like to say that I'm an expert in marriages and divorces.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna talk about that. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, with that being said, expert in marriage and divorce. All right. So you've been married. You've been married twice and divorced twice. Okay. So I've been married twice and divorced twice. So let's talk about this.
Okay,
Now,
okay.
so in your marriage, now feel free to whatever it is that you don't want to discuss. By all means, hey, we can stop, we can pump the brakes on it, or if you do, then we can hit the gas and we can accelerate. And I'll do the same because some things might get a little, may get a little. I don't know what they may get. We'll just see as we go.
All
Again,
right,
I want to
cool.
say to all of my guests, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Unmuted. This is episode number 8. Tonight's special guest is Jamar Stafford, the host of What the Facebook Live segment and podcast, What's Love Got to Do with It? Tonight we're talking about his side, her side, marriage, divorce, single, dating, career, children. All right, so normally in the podcast, people ask questions, they have comments. We like to go back and forth with those. So if you do have a comment, we're watching, so please feel free. We'll drop your comment in, we'll drop your question in, we'll try to get to it. So let's go back and forth. Right now, we're going to pick Jamar for his side of the marriage. So tell us a little bit about the marriage, since you're the expert in the marriage and the divorce. Talk about that. You did it once and it didn't work out, but you did it again. What is your what's your philosophy behind that? What is your, how did that come about? How do you feel about that? And in saying that, are you open to love again? Are you open to a relationship again? Are you done with marriage? You just want to date?
Okay, so short answer to that is yes, I am open to love again. And the reason why I say that is because now I know how to love again. And before my first marriage, without saying too much, I would just say that my first marriage, all my fault. Okay. I was 21 when I got married the first time. I was young. My family tried to tell me, boy, you too young, you not ready. And because me and my girlfriend, fiance at the time, we were together for probably about 4 or 5 years before we got married. And hey Naisha, we probably was together for 4 or 5 years before we got married. But and when I say together, I'm not talking about an off again, on again relationship. Like we were together as teenagers, and we like had a steady relationship, you know. But when I got married, you know, I wasn't ready. I thought I was able to financially take care of family. I was able to be there physically, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally, I was not there. And I had the mind frame back then. Keep in mind, I'm 21. I had the mind frame back then. As long as you're taking care of a family, you're protecting and providing, then you're the best husband in the world. You know, and that is so not the case. You know, I've learned now that women, okay, protecting and providing, okay, that's good, but what else you got? You know, you have to be able to tap in to that emotional side. You have to be able to tap into that spiritual side. Because if you leave them starving in those areas, then they are gonna be at a point to where they're looking for you to do things, and you can't do them. You know, you just can't do them. So whenever they come to you and try to talk to you about, you know, hey, you know, um, I need you to be more affectionate, or I need you to be more sensitive to my point of view and what I'm saying and how I feel about this or that, you know, I looked at it back then as you're nagging too much, you're complaining too much, or you're trying to tell me what to do. And I learned that that wasn't the case. I wasn't catering to her love language. You know, I wasn't. I only thing I cared about was me going to work, coming home, putting food on the table. Anything that you ask for, I'm able to give it to you. Anything that the kids need, I'm able to do it. And it still wasn't enough. And at the time, I was looking at it like, man, I can't please this girl for nothing in the world. But it wasn't that. It was me. You know, so after that marriage, I was married for 7 years, and after that marriage pretty much ended, um I decided that I needed some counseling. I was like, hey, you know, maybe I should go and get counseling to see if there's something wrong with me, or is there something wrong with her. I wanted the counselor to say it was something wrong with her. But come to find out, it was a lot of stuff wrong with me. And so, you know, I was able to learn from that. And so I remained single for a few years and got married again. And in the midst of that marriage, I learned a lot from that marriage. I was a much better man in that marriage because I learned from the previous marriage, and I took a totally different um, avenue. You know, I took a totally different spin on my from where I was at my first marriage, and things didn't work out there simply because we just wasn't on the same page with a lot of stuff. You know, we wasn't. I learned one thing that I learned out of that marriage is when you people say don't marry nobody that you're not equally yoked with. And when people hear that, they think about church. Well, both parties need to be a Christian. Both parties need to go to church. Both parties need to love God. It's more than just that. You know, being equally yoked is being on the same page, being able to communicate with each other, being able to express how you feel. You know, being able to work together as a team, being able to reach that one common goal, being able to operate the household with unity. You know, we was a blended family, so That was something that was very important, that we had to make sure that we saw eye to eye on. And so it was just some different areas that we didn't see eye to eye on. And so we just kind of decided to dissolve the marriage. It just didn't work out for us. But one thing that I've learned, whenever something don't work, you have to look at it as a blessing, or you have to look at it as a lesson. And I learned some valuable things from that second marriage, and it was a lesson and it was a blessing, because it helped me birth What's Love Got to Do with It. What's Love Got to Do with It was not birthed from out of the anger that I had from that second marriage ending, or the sadness from out of that second marriage ending. It was birthed from the learning experience, the things that I learned, and the things that I was able to grow on from that first and second marriage. So I'm grateful. I'm single, and just taking things slow, and just taking it one day at a time.
I hear you, one day at a time. Okay, so we're gonna go back just a little bit. Hey, Angela, I think that's one of your guests that is tuned in. Thank you to all of Jamar Stanford's guests from What's Love Got to Do with It, popping in over and catching them live on tonight. Okay, so it sounded oh so good the way you broke that down and talked about it was all your fault, the first marriage, and being equally yoked in the second marriage, and blended family, and some things. There was a lot of, you didn't know her love language, and that's wrapped up so nicely with a bow on it for me tonight. But that wasn't the case when you were going through it. So the show is a part of It's Real Life. So, we like to be real about the whole thing. And it's unmuted. So with that being said, you said that it was your fault in the first marriage. You know that now. But going through that relationship, you didn't see, or you didn't feel that you were the problem. Talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. Absolutely. When I was in that first marriage, I basically looked at what we did on the outside of things. And what I mean by that is, she had a nice car. We had a beautiful home. I was an awesome dad. I've always been an awesome dad. That's something nobody can never take away from me. I'm a great dad, and I'm not scared. I'm not ashamed to say it. And we went out on weekly dates. I would date her every week, and we went to church. We was very involved in church, and very family oriented. I hung around her family a lot. She hung around my family. And just all of the outside things seemed so perfect, but when we got behind closed doors, when she would try to sit me down and talk to me about certain things, I would look at her and like, Shawty, you tripping. Like you tripping. Like, I want to go hang out with my boys. Like, let me go do that. Like, leave me alone. Or I don't feel like talking. And so for the fact that I don't feel like talking, I need you to just not talk. Just leave me alone. I don't want to talk. Or it would be, you nagging too much. Every time I turn around, you're complaining, about something, and now hindsight 2020, looking at it, you know, it's like all of those things that she would try to say to me and try to get me to see, I wasn't trying to see it. I was not looking at her side. I
So,
was only looking at my side.
right. So I think that happens a lot, but I think it's a communication problem. So because men and women communicate differently. So when a woman says she wants to talk about something or she attempts to talk to a man about something, he automatically thinks that she's nagging. But it's not necessarily that the woman is nagging about something. It's just that she has something that she feels strongly about. And instead of, that's what we do, instead of just letting it just build up and build up and build up, we oftentimes want to talk about it. We want to make it right. But it seems like, I don't know, maybe it's an ego thing with the men, or it's just a stereotypical kind of thing. It's maybe been passed down. When a woman wants to talk or she wants to talk, then she wants to talk, and then she's nagging or this or that. And then those kind of things get in the way of relationships. So it causes, when, for me, that would cause me to shut down. That will completely cause me to shut down in a relationship. If you're constantly, when I try to bring something to you, you don't want to talk about it. Look, some of that stuff you said, if you had told me that, yeah, you're right, we would be definitely divorced. But you know,
I
and
was off
then,
the chain.
huh?
I was off
So
the chain.
yeah, clearly you were. Yeah, but I would have to break that chain. So some women don't know how to. Some women don't know how to communicate, and that's why oftentimes you have in marriages where people fight, and not just in marriages, just even in relationships where people constantly fight. They fight, fight, fight. It gets really physical. Even if it's not physical, but they fuss and they argue back and forth so much because of the lack of communication. He doesn't know how to talk, so he wants what he wants. Sometimes we don't know how to talk and we want what we want, so we're constantly bumping heads. I mean, I know I can have a fly mouth. No, I'm not the only one, but I know I can have, the Lord still working on me and my tongue, but I can have a bit of a fly mouth. So some of that stuff you said, or you said in the past, no, that wouldn't have went that way with me. I wouldn't have been able to, mm-mm, mm-mm. Yeah, that would have went a whole lot differently. Um, but
Absolutely.
that's
So
a
look,
problem.
check this out. So
Here we go.
one thing that I've learned is that, you know, in that particular situation, she would, when I would say things like that, she would go into a shell. And I don't think that it was because she didn't want to communicate. I think that she went into a shell to keep peace, you know, and things just started unraveling. Things just started to build up, build up, build up until it got to its overflow boiling point. And then, when everything just blew up and hit the fan, you know, stuff was everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And one thing that I've learned is that a lot of times a woman just really wants to be listened to. They just want you to hear them out, hear what they have to say. A lot of times women are not really looking for you to fix the problem. They just want to be heard. Okay, baby, I hear exactly what you're saying. Now I know that if a woman comes to vent to me about a particular issue, then I know that I can say, okay, sweetheart, I hear you. So are you telling me this for a solution, for me to provide you with a solution? Because men are fixers. You tell me something, I'm trying to figure out how to fix it. You know, whether that is me fixing it by saying I don't want to talk about it, or by me fixing it with a real solution, you know,
Okay.
to make that particular situation better. So, you know, I'll say, hey, now, you know, forward, I'm like, okay, I hear you. Are you looking for a solution, or are you just telling me this so that I can take note, or so that you just want to let me know this particular thing? You know, like, what are you really, you know, trying to
What
get
are
at?
you
What do you
really
want me to
trying to
do?
say?
Yeah, what are you really trying to say?
Yeah.
And I think that effective communication, I think that happens in maturity. I also think that when you're at the point where you're able to put your pride aside, because back then I had a lot of pride. I'm a man. You don't tell me what to do. You don't tell me. I'm the man. You don't
Okay.
tell me what to do.
Well, let's take a pause right there since you the man. Um, but so what makes men think that it's okay to talk to a woman any kind of way? Because at the same time, on the flip side of it, the same way a man feels like I'm the man, you don't talk to me any kind of way. A woman feels the same way because I'm going to say the same thing. I'm a woman. You don't talk to me no any kind of way. You might need to fall back on that. But now I will say this because of um, how we were raised and different things. I would say this. I have actually had to say in conversation, I had to take a pause in the middle of a conversation and say, you know what? Don't listen to how I say this. Listen to what I say. Because if you listen to how I say it, it's going to turn you off. Because I'm a little bit passionate right now about what I'm saying. You know, I'm kind of heated. So I've actually had to go in and say that. And then I want to say this. I want to go back to saying that men are, where you talked about being a provider. Being a provider. Some men actually think that when they pay all of the bills, when they take care of everything, that financially or whatnot, they think that that is actually enough, that the buck stops there. Okay, so I pay the bills. You don't have to worry about that. Oh, I get your hair done, I get your nails done, I do this, I put you in a nice ride, blah, 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 blah. We in a nice house. But all of those things are picture perfect on the outside, but it don't necessarily cover everything on the inside, because women still feel still feel like they have a void, because just because you're paying all the bills doesn't mean that you can talk to me any kind of way. Just because you're getting this done and you're doing this and you put me in a nice ride doesn't mean that you can stay out any time of night. It doesn't give you a pass for all of those things. So, you know, if you paying the bills, but I'm taking care of what you're providing for us. Yeah, you put me in this nice car or whatnot, but I'm making sure that our children are fed. I'm making sure that our house is taken care of. I'm meeting all of your needs, everything that you want, that you are getting. Well, most of us, if we're doing it the right way, we're doing those things. But when is enough not necessarily good enough, or when is it not enough? I mean, because I've been married twice and divorced twice, and I feel like, you know, I had my flaws and my faults in the relationships. I did, but certain things that I just could not deal with, certain things I just could not put up with. Now, in my second marriage, I knew before I got it, I knew I was not supposed to marry him. So all of the red flags was there. I knew, and I went against everything in me, and I got into and I did that. So that's just one of those things that until God released me from that relationship, I had to sit in it. It didn't feel good, but I had to sit in that relationship. I did. I was muted in that relationship, for one, because I knew that I wasn't supposed to be in it anyway. I knew I wasn't supposed to marry that man, regardless of what somebody else said. And I had grown to the point where I'm not with the arguing. The elephant was in the room in my relationship. We didn't argue. It got to the place we were living two totally different lives in one house. On the outside, it looked great. On the inside, it was not that. I'm living one life, he living another life, people thinking we living this great life, and we weren't living this great life. But because of, what am I looking for? Because of what people thought and keeping up appearances, we were in this separate marriage, because that's what it was. We were living two separate lives, but we were married. I was a married single woman. Whoa. I was raising my child, and I was in a marriage, and I was a married single woman. And I can say it now, but that was something that I was embarrassed about saying when I was going through that. You know, and I felt like I was looking like a fool because I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do, but he was doing that. He was doing, you know, and he was doing what he wanted to do. So what do you do when enough is not enough? I mean, because a man can have a great woman and he gonna go out and do whatever it is he want to do, not at any fault of hers. And I'll give in a man's defense. A woman can have a great man and she can go out and do everything up under the sun.
That's true. So you raised a good point when you said when there's enough enough. You know, I look at it like this. You know, for one, we see those red flags. Okay, but I think that we ignore those red flags because we want that particular thing so much, and I think that it's all surface stuff. Oh, he got that beard that I always wanted my man to have. Or, oh, she got that fat dude that I always wanted my girl to have. Oh, she built up just like I like her, you know. Or oh, he has that job that, you know, he's financially stable. You know, they look at this surface stuff and they ignore all of the signs. Like you said, you knew from the very beginning that he was not to be your husband. But whatever, those surface things may not be what I just named. But, you know, you're looking at the things that don't even matter. It was a pastor that said that I grew up under. He would say, you know, what is once round will go square. What is once was hard will get soft. You know, so you need to look at longevity. You know, is this the type of person that I can have a true partnership with? Is this a person that I could do business ventures with? Is this a person that I could do life with? You know, a person that is gonna have my back no matter what. I do not want to be with someone where I have to question their loyalty, their integrity, their character, who they are, and who they're gonna be when I'm not around. I need to be confident, and I need to be solid in knowing that if I go away for 2 years, I ain't got nothing to worry about. I send you all my money and I tell you to spend X amount, and when I come back, I'm gonna have the dollars that I'm supposed to have in the bank.
So you want to be Gucci Mane
or you know, Gucci Mane and Keisha Dior, whatever her name is. Yeah, you know, that girl, he left her with some money. That girl tripled and quadrupled that man money when he came back.
Okay, but let's stop right there.
You know,
because everybody is not there, and I'm trying to catch all these comments from two different pages. So one person, Ashley Elwood, says image. And I pinned it on there because I want to talk about that particular thing. Yes, a lot of the times it is about image, because I've seen people in relationships for years and they didn't even love each other. They were just together maybe because they didn't want somebody else to have the other person. And then not even just that. They were living two separate lives. I mean, like literally. He in a relationship and she in a relationship with somebody else, but they are married. But they won't let go of that. That's a little bit, now that's a little bit too extreme. That's too much. And then some people, they're dipping and diving and slipping and sliding and everything because they don't want their spouse to find out. But they're just keeping up appearances because everybody know he messing with so-and-so, so-and-so on the job. And everybody know that she messing with so-and-so, so-and-so wherever she is. But they're married and they appear to have all of this stuff going on, but they're not even happy. Why even stay? Now, I'm not one to tell somebody to leave their spouse or anything like that, but why would you hold on to something like that? Why would you continue to put yourself through that? Because if it's dead, then it's dead. I mean, I know people that their children have gone through, have had to have counseling because they were married for 18, 19, 20 years, and they were only together for the sake of the children. And then when the children graduated and was gone, then they want to split up and divorce. Now the children going through trauma and gotta get counseling because they think that they've been brought up in this loving household, but it wasn't that. When do we have to become, yes, an illusion, Ashley, an illusion. When do we open our eyes and say, okay, we need to do something about this? Either we're gonna work on this thing or we need to get it to, or we're gonna have to let this thing go. Either this is for us. I mean, because there's too much out there going on for people to be playing.
Come on. Let me tell you something. Kids, they know what's going on in the household, whether you tell them or not. They know what's going on in the house. They can feel the energy. The energy is gonna tell it all because if I'm mad at you, I'm just not gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna talk to you because the kids is around. I'm just not gonna talk to you. I'm gonna move in silence if I don't want to talk to you. And the kids, they pick up on stuff like that.
They do.
So why try to fool the kids? You know what I'm saying? By staying together and then boom, you look up, you married for 20 years and now you done got all the kids at the house and you break it to the kids that y'all get a divorce and the kids be like, oh, we already knew y'all weren't happy. We knew that was coming.
But all children aren't like that though. Some of them can't handle that.
Oh yeah, of course. Some of them
can't handle that. They think that it is they have a problem with that. And I know grown people right now that have issues with their step parents, and their parents have been divorced and they've been with the step parents for 25, 20, 30 years, but the children still can't get over the fact that their mother and their father aren't together anymore. Their split could have had nothing at all to do with the people that they're with right now. And someone made the comment, is definitely more than just being Christians. That was Tasha. That is absolutely right, because I'm a Christian, but it is definitely more than just being a Christian, because just because I'm a Christian, you're not going to talk to me no any kind of way. You're not going to treat me no any kind of way. And just because you're a Christian doesn't give you the authority figure, and it's okay for you to talk to me any kind of way because I'm your wife. I don't care if I'm your first wife or if I'm your fifth wife. Okay, let me take that back, because I ain't probably not gonna marry somebody that's been married 4 or 5 times already. But you know what I'm trying to say. You can't just go off of just being Christians, because there are people that consider themselves Christians that are in abusive relationships. There are people that consider themselves Christians that's out doing everything up under the sun. And I think it's about, someone said respect goes a long way. And actually, it really does. But I feel like if you are having an issue in your relationship, it might be time to, it's time to seek some counseling. So now you said that you did counseling after your first marriage. You know, a lot of men think that counseling is a problem. That if you go to a counselor that, well, I don't know. You tell me what men think about counseling. You a man and you've been through counseling.
Well, most men think that they don't need counseling because of pride and ego. Um, I used to think that I grew up without my dad, and my sisters would tell you that I used to say, even my mom, she would tell you that I would say all the time, "Oh, my mom did a wonderful job raising me. I ain't need my dad. I'm good. I mean, I'm successful. I'm a great dad. I ain't need my daddy." That's what I used to say. But then when I got divorced the first time, I realized that I needed to go to counseling. And I went to counseling and I was just telling the counselor, all the issues, this, that, and the third. And she asked me, was I raised with my father? And I told her I didn't know him. And we traced it all back. And it really came back to me having abandonment issues. And that was one of the other reasons why, you know, that was one of the reasons why I used to feel like I couldn't be alone. I got to have somebody. I got to have me a little shorty on the team. I have to,
Okay, so let's talk about the shorty on the team.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that that's a male thing, but I know it's not just a male thing. There's a female thing too, because I've been in conversations with several acquaintances and friends, and they actually talk about that. I have had people ask me, okay, so I just can't do it. How do you do it? I just can't be by myself. And I'm like, well, why not? I've had individuals tell me, well, I just can't sleep by myself. I have to have someone laying next to me. I don't see how you can sleep by yourself. I can show you better than I can tell you. I can get in the middle of the bed with all my pillows and go to sleep just fine. Catch me before my head hit the pillow. Because if you don't, I won't answer the phone. And Felicia can probably tell you that. But yeah, what is that? People are so afraid of being alone these days, and then that ties into the single and the dating portion, because we talked about marriage and we talked about divorce, and we may have to come back and do a part 2 because our hour is almost up. But
we may have to go over an hour tonight.
But we talked about, saying about single and dating. Some people actually feel like they cannot be alone. But I just believe that when you have to be in a relationship, that you set yourself up for failure that way. Because if your relationship hopping, then there's a problem. And you don't know if you're the problem, or you don't know if the other person was the problem, because you're not giving yourself time to even figure that out. You're going from one relationship to the next relationship, or oh, I'm not in a relationship, or we're just talking, or we're just doing this, or we figuring it out. But you sleeping with this person and you sleeping with that person, and you got all of this other stuff going on. You're not even giving yourself time to figure you out. Now, to me, that's my take from a woman's standpoint.
I understand. Once I got to the place where I had to get to the place to where I could be by myself. I couldn't. I just always had to have somebody, and I had to get to the place to where I was okay with being with myself. At some point, if you, after being married twice and divorced twice, you don't want to get into something and it fail again.
Right.
Because it's just like 3 times, man. That's just like, bro, like, so I had to get comfortable with just making myself happy. You know what I'm saying? Doing what I want to. You know, if I wanna, if I wanna just lay on the couch and look at TV tonight, then just lay on the couch and look at TV tonight. You know, but I'm cool with laying in the bed by myself. I sleep like a baby. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got
Well,
the.
how long did it take you to get to that point?
Well, now when I got divorced the second time, I was already at that place where I was okay because I put so much into that particular marriage the second time to where I was just exhausted. I was exhausted. Like I was to the place to where I was so mentally and emotionally drained to where I was glad that I was by myself. You know, so it this but the first time when I got divorced, it wasn't like that. You know, like I had to have somebody. You know what I'm saying? And so but I learned I'm glad that I'm able to take that time to myself because I can replenish myself for my next relationship whenever I decide when I want that to be. um you know, I'm gonna be replenished, I'm gonna be refreshed, and I'll be able to give somebody all of me and not just pieces of me. You know, I want to be able to trust again. I want to be able to be at a place to where I can let my guard down so that I can be vulnerable again. Because you know, I think people let their guards up. I think that's out of fear. Um, because they're scared to be hurt again. But I think to have a successful relationship, you have to have those guards down to open yourself up to vulnerability. And being hurt is really a gamble. You cannot guarantee that you will not get hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that you won't get hurt. So, you know, but you have to take that gamble. You have to be willing to take that gamble.
Okay, so speaking of the letting your guards down and the trust issues, now I know that's the case for, okay, for men, but definitely for women. I mean, because once you've hurt us, it is really hard. First of all, once you've hurt us, it's really hard to gain that trust back. So even trying to go forward in that same particular relationship, um, that's a struggle, because if you don't feel that the person is genuine, that they can possibly do it again, and you're always in the back of your mind wondering or worried, and if that relationship doesn't work out, when you go into the next relationship, um, you're worried if that person is going to do what the next person did, even if they show you over and over again that they're not the same. Each little sign or the first thing that they do that look like what Jimmy did, then they're, ready to, catch flight, or it's an argument, or, oh, you're doing this, or, oh, you're doing that. It could have nothing at all to do. I mean, they could completely be into the person and be into you, but because you have the trust issues and you have the baggage from a previous relationship. That's one thing I really pray about. I say, Lord, I don't want to take into another relationship any baggage from a previous relationship. And I think when you jump into relationships too soon after another relationship, you haven't gotten over the baggage that you're carrying. I mean, and the baggage doesn't necessarily have to be from a relationship or the relationship that you were in, but it can be baggage from your past, from your family issues, from some kind of trauma that you went through, from whatever it may be. Like you said, you didn't grow up with your dad, so abandonment issues, that's all baggage. And when you go into a relationship, you're taking all of that baggage into the relationship with you. If you haven't gotten it sorted out before you get into a relationship, then you're taking all of that with you. And if you can't handle it, how do you expect the person that you're getting with to handle it? But it goes on both sides. To me, I feel like that goes for men and for women, because we both have our own things that we're dealing with. We can go through the completely same thing and we handle it or we deal with it in extremely different ways, like both of us. For those of you that are just tuning in, tonight's episode 8 with our guest from the show What's Love Got to Do with It, Jamar Stanford. We've both been married twice. We've both been divorced twice. I have a child. You have 2 children. So in your second relationship, it was a blended marriage. In my second relationship, it was a blended marriage. So the issues that I took into the next relationship, I still had to, okay, so this is not his son, but I want him to treat him like it's his son. Your children weren't your second wife. Were your children the second wife?
No.
Okay, I want to make sure. But you wanted her to treat them as such, and vice versa. But that can tend to get to be a problem because no one is gonna, we feel that no one is gonna love our children like we love our children. And they may not love them or do for them in the capacity that we want them to. And oftentimes we don't even express that. So then the children become a whole issue. You know, arguments stem around children.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We blended pretty well. I mean, we had our challenges, but you know, we have had conversations surrounding it. But it, it takes a long time to get that blending thing right.
Yeah.
And her and I we was only married for a year and a half, so we were still working on those things, you know. But to go back to the baggage, I want to talk about that baggage piece that you spoke about. You know, if a person brings baggage into a new relationship, okay, I've dated a few women, you know, since divorced, nothing serious, but I've dated, and I got a couple of ladies that I've dated, and I'm like, I'm gone. Like if I see if I see something that I cannot deal with, I know what I want to deal with, and I know what I'm not gonna deal with. If you possess something that I know I don't want to deal with, guess what? Your boy gone. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. I'm gone. Because I don't have time to waste. I don't date to just date. I date to marry. So why waste time? You know, if I don't have time to fix you. I've tried that before. I can't fix you.
So
I will not try to fix you.
okay, so first of all, you crazy. You real crazy. You certified crazy. I'm just gonna throw that one out there for free. But fixing, that's a whole nother issue in itself. Fixing. Men tend to think women try to fix them. Women think men just don't care about anything. But I don't think we necessarily, well, I don't know, because you might have a couple out there that, you know, try to, now I know there are women that try to fix their men or make their men into what they want them to be. The whole molding them into something has gone just a little bit too far. I don't think we're supposed to be doing the molding. I don't think that's my job to mold you into the man that you're supposed to be, so to speak. I think that you should want to be the man, and you should try and work towards being the man that you're supposed to be. to whoever you're in a relationship with. I think that it is my responsibility to work towards being the woman that I'm supposed to be to the man that I'm in a relationship with. I'm supposed to be to you who I want you to want. Does that make sense? I mean, because if I
Yeah, and I think that where we make that mistake is well, women make that mistake, I believe, is that you're not gonna fix me. And you're not gonna be able to shape and mold me into the person that you want me to be. I'm gonna have to already be that person.
right,
That goes with potential. You're never supposed to be with somebody because of the potential of what they could be. Because when reality kicks in and that potential never becomes a reality, you stuck like Chuck, you
and
know.
you're so wrong.
And it's too late. It's too late, or you're gonna end up two things gonna end up happening. Either you're gonna get a divorce or you're gonna end up settling for what you have, and you're gonna be miserable for the rest of your life. So
Now
I
let's talk
think
about
that
that settling thing. I mean,
okay.
because I'm just not trying to settle. You know,
Oh, I
and
ain't
that's
settling
so
either.
common. And that's so common, you know, right now. People, I don't know if people are afraid. People are afraid to let go. Even now, I understand, you know, in marriage, but even in dating relationships, if you don't have to be with someone, if you're not bound to that person by marriage, why would you continue to be in a relationship that you know is toxic? Why would you continue to be with someone that you know is taking you down? Women can be with the man and she go to work, he dropping her off at work and he going back home to lay down or play the game while she working all day. He might hit the block later on to do whatever it is that he do, but he really not paying any bills for real. He messing with everybody on the side, got her looking crazy. It's a real life the movie Baby Boy going on. But why would you settle for something like that when you don't have to? He not even yours for real. He can be everybody's because he didn't put a ring on your finger. And even if he did put a ring on your finger, it seems like some of them are still everybody's. Because it's no loyalty in the relationship. There's no trust in the relationship.
Exactly.
You are
When
absolutely
you
right.
when you settle for what you have, um, that's your own fault. You did yourself a disservice by this making the decision, because for one, we're not dumb, okay? And we're not what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, we're not stupid to what's in front of us. You know, we know we know the red flags, but we tend to say, "Oh, don't worry about it, they're gonna be all right. I'm gonna sit him down and I'm gonna talk to him and I'm gonna tell him about he gonna be different." You know, and no, because and they say, "Oh, because I ain't like all the other women that he been with. I'm I'm different." What you think what you got so special that he couldn't get out of the other women? You ain't got. I hate to tell you, you ain't got something so special that's gonna change that man.
Okay,
That
so
man ain't got something so special that's gonna change that woman. Vice
so
versa.
let's take a pause right there, and then I want you to pick up. But I'm gonna put let's do a little intermission. Let's do a little something for the ladies. Ladies, please don't tell another man that you are different. Please don't tell another man that you are not like the rest of them, because clearly uh, that's not working and it's not what they want to hear. Carry on.
you know, you're you are going to have to. that man is going to have to make the decision to wise up, to get mature. It's a part of manhood. Men think that long as I work every day, I pay my bills, I take care of my kids, I may go to church every now and again, and all that stuff, I'm a good man. Bruh, no, you're not. That's just like half of it. You know, being loyal to a woman, okay? Being an example to your kids, especially if you have a daughter, on how to treat a woman. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no woman finna meet my daughter on my kids unless we serious.
Now I
You're
agree with
not
that.
meeting them. You
I
ain't meeting them.
totally agree with that. I am in 100%, 110% in agreement with that. I just don't. I'm not for one for bringing. First of all, I'm just not trying to do mindlessly dating. And I know one of my friends, she hate to hear me say that, but I'm just really at a point where I'm not really for the mindlessly dating. You gotta, you know, you meet somebody and you do this and you start this and this and this. You gotta get to know them and they gotta get to know you and you're gonna do this and then they may meet your kids and if you like it, then you gotta, okay, they're not really the one you want and then you gotta start all over and keep doing it all over and over again. That's draining. I'm not introducing my child to, and I've never been that person though. I've just never been that person to introduce my child to nobody. I mean, and because the same way you feel like about your daughter, I feel about my son that same way because they're looking at these things. And I don't want him growing up teaching or feeling that he can do, it's okay to treat women this way. It's okay to talk to more than one person. It's okay to, talk to this girl and be with that girl and this girl and if he break, I don't want to teach him that because someone had in the comment a little bit earlier said it's generational. Yes, that is very generational because whatever they see us go through, then they're more apt to go through the same thing. So I feel like how we handle marriage, how we handle divorce, how we handle being single, how we handle dating, our children are watching that very same thing. And how we handle it is basically how they're going to handle it too, because they're looking at us. They have enough influences outside of us. We need to at least set the great example for them. Well, you know what? My mom didn't do this, or my mom didn't do that. When he was single, he didn't have all those women around. When she was single, she didn't have all those men around. And I didn't see this person running in, and I didn't have 5 uncles that came in and out, and this or that or the other, or all these friends, yada, yada, yada. It does matter. Some people might not like it that I'm saying it, but it actually does matter, regardless of what generation you're in, whether you're the X generation, whether you're the millennial generation, whatever you're in, it does matter because these children are going back and they're doing the exact same thing that they see us do. Okay, grandmama and mama was in the club together. Well, when they get of age, they're going to be trying to be in the club with mama too. Grandmama and mama smoke and drink together. When they get of age, they're going to be trying to do the same thing too. And you tell them not to do it, but when they see you do it, then they're going to try to do the same thing. So we're supposed to practice, like they say, practice what we preach, because somebody is watching us. Ironically enough, it happens to be our children. I want to throw something out there at you. You talked about your career and your progression in your career, men buying and being the provider and this, that, and the other. So what do you feel about, or how do you feel about careers in relationships? What if your spouse or your significant other made more than you? Or what if you were in a relationship and you were on one career path, but it took you away from your relationship? Now, oftentimes that does happen with women, but it took you away from your career, or they played a toll on each other. Some people divorced or split up because one career was going one way and the other was. So how do you feel about that?
let me explain something. First, will ruin a marriage or even a relationship. It's very, very important. It'll ruin it, kill it, dead. But I think that, let me just say this. I'm just gonna say it how I know how to say it, because I try to be professional, but some stuff I just can't. I don't know how to say it professional.
Just say it.
So I don't have any problems with what type of work you do. I just need you to be the best at that. If you work at McDonald's and you get with me, I'm gonna need you to be the manager. Like, I'm gonna need you to be the store manager. Like, that's okay if you're working fast food. I ain't got no problem with that, but just make sure you be the manager.
Or aspiring to be the
Or
manager.
if you're or aspiring to be the manager. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need you. Oh, I'm okay being a crew member. I'm fine where I'm at. No, baby, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, boo, you ain't fine right there. You at $10. You don't need. I need you to get to like 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not about the money. I'm not saying that because it's about the money, because whatever I can give to you should be a bonus. Okay, and whatever you can give to me financially, it should be a bonus. All right.
Okay.
So I should be having my hand out looking for you to help me with my bills, or vice versa. If I decide to help you out with your bills, then it's because that's what I want to do. And it's because it's a bonus to you. I'm doing it for you because I want to show you that I appreciate you. I want to show you that I love you, and I got your back, and this, that, and the third. But I need you to match my fly. And to answer the question about if a lady made more than me, I would not have a problem with it. I want it because I'm confident in the pay grade that I'm in. You know what I'm saying? And I make enough money to where I can take care of me, you, and some kids, and you not even work. So if you make more than me, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? It's only a bonus to me. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
And
I hear what you're
you
saying,
know,
but
what?
everyone doesn't feel that way. I mean, everyone doesn't have it
That's
like that.
true. That's true.
You
Everybody.
actually have some men that have a problem with the woman making more money than them. That's a problem for some men. For even if I'll say this, if you got into a relationship and you've been in your career prior to the relationship, he got with you and you were already established in your career, and then he started a career path or whatever it was. Some men, even though they got with you, they have a problem with you making more money than them. Everybody's not there. Now, the being able to, take care of me and a couple kids and all of us, now that's good. But everybody, first of all, everybody not gonna do that. It would be good if they did, but everybody doesn't feel that same way. Everyone is not at that status in their career either. So what would you say to a man that's battling with that? Because men battle with that. Men, you know what? I've heard that some men have a problem with their women making more money than them, and then they have to hear it from their boys on the side also.
Okay, yeah, that's true. The only advice that I would have to that man that would be going through that, to be quite honest, is if that is a problem for you, if that is something that you're battling with in your mind, because what ends up happening is these men, people tend to date people in their social in their economic status, in their economic bracket. People tend to, if if I work, if I may not have that good of a job, I may tend to gravitate to somebody that may be on the same level as me. That people just do that naturally, but I think that if you're attracted to someone that may make more than you and they like you too, then acquire the skills that they may have not the same skills, but get them to get you to that level. Be teachable. Be able to let your pride down and say, baby, you know what? I want to be able by 2021, I want to be able to be making $50,000. I want to work in this particular industry. What certifications I need, what schooling I may need to go to help me be attractive to employers, to where they will be able to employ me at a job that's making $50,000 a year. And obviously my woman may have the tools, she may possess the tools to be able to get me to that point, but I've got to be a man and let my pride and my ego subside and become teachable and coachable and get her to get me to that level. A woman, let me tell you something. A woman does not really want to be the breadwinner in the household. They don't want that. So they have to be able to, that woman wouldn't mind helping them. Baby, you know what? I got you. I'm gonna help you get to this point. We got these goals. We're gonna set them. We're gonna set time frames. You need to go to school. You need to do this. You need to do that. And like Ashley said, I have experience where men are intimidated with my career as a nurse practitioner. Nurse practitioners, they basically a doctor. So, they make pretty darn good money. So I think that she would possess the tools and the knowledge where she can get that man to a 6-figure salary. You know what I'm saying? She can help him get to that place to where he is able to, he may have a lot of experience in construction. Okay, baby, you in construction? All right, cool. Well, we finna open us up a construction business, and you gonna be the primary owner.
Okay.
And she get him to that point.
Okay. So those were some good points, and I hope that was someone was actually listening and taking something from that. So the comments are crazy. The comments are crazy on both platforms. The comments are crazy. So I got somebody saying, no, we don't make good money on from the nurse practitioner. I got somebody on the other one saying you need to stay with them after. So basically, after a woman helps you get to where you need to be, don't leave her for somebody else. Yeah, well, no, she did say that. She said, and don't leave her. She said, not get there and leave her. That's exactly what she said. Okay. So
now that's good because yeah, that's good.
That happens. That does happen. Okay. So one thing
that does happen.
She said she will help nail the house up. Look, I get you. We can build this thing together. We don't have to. Yeah.
Right.
So I want to know how you feel about this. So in this era that we're living in right now, and we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon. But in this era that we're living in right now, we are in the reality TV. We are in the Love and Hip Hop, Real Housewives this, Love and Hip Hop that, blah 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 blah, Hot Girl this, the whoever, City Girl that. We in the era of all of that. I'm not knocking how anybody make their money. Get your bread. That's not, I'm not knocking that. What I have a question about, or what I'm basically on is for I don't want to call them not real. I don't want to say they're not real, but for the real ones that are not in those particular those particular settings that have no desire to be a city girl, that has no desire to be a hot girl, that has no desire to be on Real Life or Real Housewives of this or whatever the type is, trying to get surgery and keep up with everybody else and have the biggest this and the this and this. You know, what do you think that is putting the women right now? Because you have so many that are getting surgeries. They forgot what the gym looks like. They are, getting this nipped and tucked, getting that taken out, doing this. They want to get the flyest this, and everybody want to be a singer or a rapper, or date a singer or date a rapper, or want to be on the next YouTube sensation or this, that, and the other. Even from a male standpoint, when you're looking at female, how does that make you look at just a regular female or a normal day-to-day woman, not somebody that is, on a show or some kind of Instagram influencer or whatnot? Because now you have women that are actually trying to keep up with that, compete with that. Is that what men are looking for? Like real men, not these little boys or, the rappers or whatever.
Okay, so short answer to that is that what real men looking for? Short answer is no. And I'm gonna explain that. Real men is looking for something that has longevity, someone that they can take home to their mama and not be ashamed. I want to be somebody that I can take to church. I ain't saying you got to be a little church girl and wear your long dresses and all of that. That's not what I'm saying. But I want to be able to take you to a meeting, to a social gathering where the mayor is going to be there, because I'm in those type of settings. I want to take you places where, the governor may be at, or where politicians may be at. I want to be able to take you into different places. Now, it's a time and a place to be a hot girl, because my woman gonna be fine. You better believe that. She gonna be fine. I ain't saying I'm the best looking guy, but my woman gonna be fine. But she's gonna be able to show that off at the proper time. When we in the bedroom, or if we go down to Miami for the weekend and she wanna put on one of those stone bikinis or whatever, if that's what she wanna do, she can do that when it's time. It's just me and her.
And I'm not saying that anything is wrong with that. It's just, I agree, there's a time for everything.
Yeah, it's a time for everything. And I think that, I want to be able to have a woman that she's a classic woman. You know what I'm saying? She does not flaunt her body all over social media. Yeah, men, when we see that, we like, oh, okay, she thick. Okay, she that. We may hit like every now and again, or you may even hit love, or hell, you may even comment on it. But that's temporary satisfaction for a real man. I ain't even thinking about, a woman that's flaunting her body on social media. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. I say this all the time. If it's something on your body that you're not happy with, change it. Whether that's going to the gym, whether that's going under the knife. Just because you had plastic surgery, you got your boobs done, you got your butt done, you got your tummy snipped and nipped and clipped and all that, that don't mean you got to show the world.
Right.
If that's what make you happy, go do it. Go do it. Go get under the knife. I have no problem with that, because I'm all about what makes you happy. But I want to be able to know that your motives are for you and you only. That's what make you happy. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Yes. Okay, so one of these comments she said, excuse her breast implants, and it was for medical, but she says most of the fantasy is not natural. rap sometimes. J-Lo did not come with that body. And so that goes to now, this is someone on the other page. I don't think you can see this one just yet. You'll see it once.
Oh, that's why I can't see it. I'm scrolling on them. I'm trying to see
yeah.
that.
So, because we stream into two different places, so all the comments are coming over on this side over here. Okay. So I agree with what she said, and I agree with what you said. Do what you're gonna do for you now. And another comment was about me, but we're gonna disregard. We're not gonna worry about that. I do what I do because I like me, and I want to look a certain way, and I want to be comfortable in my own skin. I don't do it for anyone else. Now, if someone else, if it happens to be appealing to other people, okay, thank you. But I try to take care of me for myself because that's what I'm comfortable with. That's who I want to be. That is the kind of person that I am. So when if you see me running, you see me in the gym, just know I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm doing it for me. I want to be around a long time. I want to be comfortable in my own skin. But I think and for my health. I like my health. I do. In my family, there are a lot of health issues. I just don't want to be that person when I'm older or even now, taking a lot of medications and this and that because sugar diabetes and high blood pressure and cholesterol and all those things do not have a name on it. It can hit anybody. I just rather be on the healthier side. So one of the benefits or the perks to me taking care of myself, I look a certain way. Don't blame it on me. I didn't have me. My parents had me. Anywho, moving on along from that. But I'm not a person to just go flaunt, I don't have to show off skin. And all of that, but you basically answered the question as far as me and wanting. But I would say from another standpoint of winning. So if you are a businesswoman, if you are a executive or this or that, you feel the same way about your husband or about your significant other. Please don't come into this conference with me with no baggy pants or no sagging pants on. Please, like you said, match my fly. So funny that you said that because I say that all the time. But I need you to be to par just like I am up to par. Now, a lot of that comes from knowing who you've gotten with in the beginning. Because if he was sagging when you got with him, 9 times out of 10, he's going to be doing the same thing later on down the line. If he used to wearing J's everywhere he goes, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a hard time trying to get him in that suit. Yeah, just that. But I feel the same way. You want your significant other you want them to match your fly. You want them to, because your significant other is a representation of you, the same way your children are.
Absolutely. It's going to be hard to really, you got some guys that will change their image. Let's say, for an example, Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane changed his image. I don't think he changed it for his wife. But he changed his image. There's several rappers that have changed their image. Ludacris, T.I., Young Jeezy. That joker there, he rapped in a suit now.
Yeah.
But once you get older and you start hanging around the circles of certain people, you just have to make a physical adjustment. However, for me, I learned back in middle school how to dress appropriately for different things. Still to this day, God is my witness. When I go to a funeral, I'm gonna have on a black suit. That's just me. That's how I was brought up. That's just how I was raised. If I go to a graduation, I'm gonna have on a suit. People don't tend to wear suits no more to graduations. But when I grew up, you wore a suit.
Well, you do have some. You have some now. The classy guys. Are starting to come back.
But they wear the t-shirts now. My baby graduated 2020. I ain't wearing that. To know. I'll wear it after the graduation when we at the house barbecuing.
I agree.
But that's just me. That's just my preference. And I'm not going to bring somebody. I'm not going to have somebody with me, beside me, and they, we at a formal event and she got a club dress on.
So there's a comment on the other page. I absolutely agree. You at the wrong event with the wrong thing on. So one of the comments on the other page was, she said she's a former, which she is. Hey, Erin, thank you for tuning in. She's a former teacher. She said, I saw plenty of families who look like they just rolled out of bed to show up for graduation. Dress up and honor the person's accomplishment. I absolutely agree. And in saying that, not just the graduation, can you please take that bonnet off your head when you go to these kids' school? Can you please put on something other than some pajama pants when you go to these kids' school? And women, I'm talking about women with the bonnets, but men, I've seen men coming to the school in pajama pants. Now you have got to be kidding me. That's not cute.
Yeah.
That is absolutely.
If I'm going up to my kids' school, and I go up to my kids' school quite often, whether I'm meeting with the teacher or whether I'm eating lunch with one of my kids, I'm gonna at least have a dress shirt on and some slacks and some loafers. I may not put on a whole suit, but I'm gonna be dressed presentable. You dress appropriate for the occasion. There is a time for you to wear your pajamas and your bunny. It's just not outside the house.
Okay. Yeah.
Wear your pajamas and your bunny when you inside the house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
One of the comments said that, tell me if you agree with this or not. Men tend to marry hoping a woman doesn't change, stay fine, in parentheses. Women tend to marry hoping for a man to change, grow up.
Okay, that goes back
to the reality.
Okay, that goes back to what we was talking about when we was talking about potential. You can't expect that person to change because they're with you. I'm not going to get with someone that likes to wear a bunny when they go outside the house, or a guy that likes to wear a do-rag when he goes outside the house. You can't expect that person to change because they're with you and you don't like that. You can't expect them to. If you talk to them about it, they may change. They may. But if they don't, you can't get mad because that's them. So you have to be to the point to where you get with the person that at wherever they are at that particular moment, you're okay with them being that way for life. However they are.
Okay,
I don't like him because he smokes. Huh?
No.
You don't agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that. I mean, I expect you to grow up at some point. I mean, I'm not.
No, I'm saying.
No. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm not expecting you to change because I want you to change. I'm not going to try to change you. And I know I have to be mindful of who I'm getting with when I get with them. But I'm gonna need you to elevate somewhere in this relationship because I'm trying to elevate also. We're not gonna be the same person in 20 years that we are today. Oh no. I don't agree with that one. No, sir. No, we need to. I get what you're saying. We gonna elevate. We ain't staying the same for 20 years. No.
I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is when you get with the person, okay, majority of your judgment is gonna be how they are on the outside. Okay.
Right.
You can't, what I'm saying is you can't get with the person that you saw them and with a bonnet on and they was in Family Dollar when you met them. And I say, well, she was cute though, So I started talking to her, and I can't expect her not to ever go outside in Family Dollar and not have her bonnet on no more. Because I met her like that. And I made a decision to get
So you knew you was
so
likely getting
I may sit her down and talk. Huh?
You knew you were most likely
Say it again.
ratchet.
Exactly. So I can't expect nothing different.
Okay, so I'm gonna read these two comments on the other side, which both of them I like. One of them says, I expect you to grow with me. If we don't evolve together and stay connected, that's a red flag. Absolutely. I expect we should grow together. We should want to build this thing together. Okay, so even that woman in that do-rag, now, even the woman in the bonnet, I mean, come on now. So at some point, you're going to have to realize that that's not how you carry yourself. You should be able to tell her, okay, look, if you do decide to get her number because she was in the dollar store like that or this or that, at some point in you all's courtship or talkship or dateship or relationship or whatever it may go, become or whatnot, you should be able to say, you know what, boo, I need you to stop wearing abundance outside the house.
I may say it, but I cannot.
No, you cannot.
I'm not saying that I won't.
No, you cannot, but you should be able to, in your relationship, bring that forward. Now, if she doesn't receive that, you knew what you got into when you got into it, but you should at least be, because if that's something that you don't like, then you should be able to tell your spouse or your significant other, you know what? This bothers me, or I have a problem with this, because you best believe they're going to come to you and they're going to tell you they have a problem with something. I might tell, look, that do-rag is fine when you on the way to the gym, but I don't need you wearing that do-rag everywhere we go. I'll say it in a nice way. I won't say it like I just said it, but I will say it in a nice way that's more respectful, more, presentable or whatever for the conversation that we're having. But I want to be in a relationship that's open enough for you to tell me, you know what, babe, I like this, but this right here kind of bothers me. And then we talk that thing out, because if we can't, then we are already doomed. If we can't tell each other our dislikes and our, certain things, then what kind of relationship we gonna have? That's gonna end. And I learned that. Now that absolutely. I do know, trial and error.
Absolutely. We're speaking the same language. We're speaking the exact same language. That is exactly what I'm saying. But
okay,
the point that I was but the point that I was trying to make is, when you sit them down and you talk to them about that particular thing, what if they don't agree with you and they say that they're not going to do it? They don't see nothing wrong with it. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I'm just running out to the store real quick and coming right back. Or I'm just going to the gym. I ain't looking for nobody in the gym, so I got my do-rag on. Hey, it's all good. I ain't looking for nobody in the gym. I ain't got to look presentable to go to Family Dollar, so it's okay for me to wear my bunny. What if they think different? You cannot expect them to change because you feel that way. If that's something, if that is something that they feel that is okay, then you have to either decide one or two things. Either I'm going to live with it and I'm going to have to just be okay with it, or I got to pack my stuff. I got to go. It's time for us to break up, because that's a deal breaker for me.
I'm not going to say that's the difference. It's a deal breaker. I'm not going to say a do-rag is a deal breaker.
We're just using that. Right. We're just using that as an analogy. But okay. I'm talking about that can be something as big as being a smoker, or you smoke weed, or you drink a lot, or you talk to me real harsh. You curse at me when you talk to me. It could be something just as big. We're talking about bonnet and do-rag, but I'm just saying it could be something bigger.
Because the smoking can be a deal breaker. It depends on where you are in your life at the particular moment. Even if you just say, I think she put a comment, about 18 to 45. Okay, so if we get together and we're both like 18, we both like 20, we both like 23, we may be doing certain things, but now we're 40, now we're 45, now we're 50. If we're still doing the exact same things that we were doing when we were 18, when we were 20, when we were 25, now we're 40 and 45 and 50, I think that's a problem somewhere. Those negative, okay, so if you couldn't let some of that stuff go, that's like letting go of childish ways, because you're not going to elevate. You're not going to progress. If you still, unless you own your own company, you own your own business, you are, self-employed, you are an entrepreneur, 9 times out of 10, smoking weed is going to hinder you from getting a really good job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I agree with you when you say we should evolve together.
Yeah.
We should have the same interests. We should have the same aspirations in life, and that comes with being on the same page.
Right.
Communication.
So Katrina said on the other page, she said that is a pre-marriage conversation. I totally agree with that. After you've dated a person for a while and you know that you want to be with that person, any of the issues or whatever you feel like you may have, that is a pre-marriage conversation. Because if certain things, whatever the do-rag or the bonnet is for you, if they're not willing to change, or even if you're not willing to change, then you might need to reconsider the particular relationship for what it is, or whatnot. And if you've been in, several people have been in several different relationships. People have been married more than one time, just like we have. Some people have, have children, this or that. They just are not willing to change certain things. So you just have to take it as it is for the situation that you can. So I want to say this. We have gone, we're almost 2 hours in, and I normally only do an hour. We talked about marriage. We talked about divorce.
It's all good. It's all good. Maybe we probably.
Yeah, we talked about being single. We talked about dating. We talked about career. We talked about children. We talked about talking crazy to each other and all of that in between. Right. There's counseling, Katrina. We also did talk about, the counseling aspect of whatnot. We may have to do a part 2. We'll see how much feedback we get from this. Some of the topics we could just really hone in on just them alone. But I want to thank you so much for tuning in to Unmuted, being my special guest. For you all that are just tuned in, hadn't been on long, this is Jamar Stanford. He is the host of the Facebook Live segment, What's Love Got to Do with It? It aired. He's usually live Monday night at 7 o'clock. Please feel free to check him out. He has some good shows. He is hilarious, as you all can see from the episode on tonight. As always, I like to always drop in different resources, different links that I can for the different topics that we talk about on Unmuted. If we expose a problem, whatever we talk about, whatever the issue is, I always like to come back with different resources. So I'll make sure that I list some different resources in the comment box later today. If you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to put them in the comment box, or you can private message. We will get that also. Thank you all for tuning in on both platforms that you're tuning in on, both pages. We appreciate all the comments, all the feedback. We appreciate all the commentary going back and forth. We thank you so much. Again, tonight's topic was his side, her side, marriage, divorce, single, dating, career, and children. Before we exit out, I want to ask my special guest, would you have anything else that you would like to say? Go ahead and promote yourself a little bit.
I just want to first thank you for inviting me. I was so excited to finally actually be someone to be a guest on someone's show. I'm usually the one that's out searching for guests and stuff like that. Like Felicia was saying, if you want to go and find me, you could just type in Jamar Stanford. I do everything from off my personal page. I don't have a fan page yet because I feel like I don't even have 5,000 friends yet. So why would I get a fan page? I mean, so once I get my 5,000 friends, I still got room for about 2,000 more people. So y'all come on and accept me as a friend. I'll be glad to have you. And also, I always quote, I always do some type of relationship quote every day, generally like Monday through Friday, kind of like in the morning time. I don't have really a specific time. It's just whenever I can come up with something that sounds really good and something that people can relate to, then I'll put that up there. So just watch out for that. You also can find me on YouTube at What's Love Live TV. You also can find me on podcast, all streaming podcast platforms at What's Love Got to Do with It with Jamar Stanford. So go and check out my podcast. And thank you guys for chiming in. Thank you guys for watching. And I'll be live on my page on Monday at 7. Thank you so much, Felicia. I really appreciate it.
Thank you again for coming on. I appreciate you. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We will see you the same time, same station next Thursday for episode number 9 of Unmuted. You all have a blessed and safe night.
Bye-bye.
It's Real Life with your host, Felicia Franklin, bringing to you Unmuted, the catalyst needed to transform your life, health, and relationships every Thursday.